The year is almost over, Blood.
Yeah.
It's almost done. We've almost made it. We still could not make it. We have a couple more days to try to put all the videos together before everybody takes off for break. But you wanted one of the best ideas you had this whole year, Blood, was for all of us to sit down and talk about our favorite games of the year. Because you think we do that when we get together to pick the games that we think are the best of the past year, but inevitably somebody's just going to get destroyed. Somebody's hopes and dreams are just going to be dashed to the curb. And it also kind of takes the weight off, where it's like, I don't feel like I right now need to communicate like, well, this is what I voted for. Like, first of all, Disney Infinity 2.0. Let's just get that out there. Disney Infinity 2.0 did not come up once during the entire Game of the Year deliberation because I didn't really bring it up. Platformer, like, I wouldn't recommend it because there are just games that are a lot tighter, that are offer much more experience, much more. You can put more hours into something like Tropical Freeze than you can in Infinity 2.0. But it just deserves to be said that I've done Toy Box Tuesdays for the last couple months now. I have not even come close to running out of stuff to do. And now that I didn't get a chance to play that game multiplayer because it's such a huge buy-in, because it's not like I can just like give my brother a PlayStation 4 and Infinity and a couple figures. It's like, that's like $600. So, but the fact that I'm now just bumping into some users on Twitch and playing the game, playing that Toy Box multiplayer is just a crack up. Like, me putting a different figure on and them like matching that figure. Like, I was like talking about the crystal figures that I didn't like, and the guy I was playing with was like, crystal figure,
That's awesome.
We were like comparing what they looked like. But I mean, as far as time spent in a game, it was like Destiny, Hearthstone, and Infinity. Those are probably the three biggest games that I came back and played over and over and over again. What was your top personal pick?
Well, for me, when you go to, especially talking about the time put in, I'm not sure. I think I put at least 130 hours or something into Dark Souls 2. I would just devoured that game in so many different ways. I spent, I think, a whole weekend just doing the Rat Covenant and setting up traps and just luring guys. I'm like, can I get the guy to get all the way up here where this huge mastodon thing is hiding? And like, sure enough, like, and then I was like, okay, that was it. That's when I was satisfied, when I managed to like get somebody to follow me and is like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he didn't get it. He didn't realize what was about to happen to him, and I just sat back and laughed.
The thing that's funny about Dark Souls is that I'm actually really excited to play Bloodborne. Bloodborne, that I can finally join these conversations. Is it's like, when you're watching a movie, and so it's like The Wizard with Fred Savage. It's like, so you're watching a movie and they're trying to talk about role-playing games, and they make up some they're like, so I was playing, Wizard's Revenge last night, and I went to like the evil like boss Lothar and had to fight him with the flame sword, and like that's what Dark Souls 2 conversations sound like. Like you and Ian and Ben and all these guys were jumping and talking about the game, and I'm like, it sounds like you're making up a game. It sounds like Calvin Ball. It sounds like you're just spitting all these crazy names out. Because there's so many secrets and there's so much to discover. I hope Bloodborne has that. I hope it's gonna be the same experience, because I'm playing that game no matter what. But that's insane. Over 100 hours. That's nuts.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing. Like, that's why I've played so few games this year, is because the games that I have picked up have been like monster games. Well, I guess there are some shorter ones. I got another platinum. I got Infamous Second Son platinum on that one. I think that's one that was really good, that kind of got forgotten by the end of the year.
Another notch in Troy Baker's belt, man. I mean, the guy, what a year that guy. And he kicked it all off, with probably the visage that is closest to his actual persona. When I played Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, I was like, took about halfway through the game. I'm like, oh, it's Troy Baker, duh, of course. Definitely his personality comes through. It was a great performance. And kind of the kickoff of us seeing, like, I think it's something we've actually taken for granted later in this year, like how amazing some of the facial voice acting has been when they do a lot of the face capture.
Yeah.
And how immersed we're getting, and hopefully how, we'll be able to progress in that as we go along the generation.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and then, I've got some picks for like the categories that we ended up not having this year. Infamous is actually one of the, of the soundtracks that I did listen to, like, it's pretty, there's a lot of games out there that will use rock music, but usually it's in a very flat kind of way. Whereas I think Infamous, their score is like, it's using rock music as score and having all the build up and all the tension and stuff that you would expect out of an orchestra, but with, guitars and bass and all kinds of crazy percussion, and that's the kind of stuff that I've always liked out of the Infamous music. And then one thing I'm actually not having in this category this year has saved me from having to deal with Smash Brothers. it would probably take me 2 weeks just to listen to all of that music. And
right.
then what do I do with it? Well, like you just like cherry picked the best songs of all time and then made them better. Oh, like, what do you want me to do? Like, how do I compare that to anything else?
And it is in there too. Isn't there like a music player that you can go in and
yeah, you can.
I mean, made our job easy.
Decide what tracks you want to put on what stage and all of that. And then David Wise came back for Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Austin Winnery did Banner Saga and like got all these like YouTube guys involved and like did this really cool music.
Yeah, there was actually
Icelandic vocals and.
It seems like there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff on games and music now. Like if it's a AAA game, we'll inevitably get like the soundtrack trailer where they'll go in and meet the composer and talk about all that stuff. And Banner Sagas, the story behind that was really fascinating. And you did a backtrack on that as well, right? Yeah, that was a really good episode.
Yeah, and then in terms of racing games, I mean, I guess I can make the pick. It's always been me anyways. People really argue. But yeah, Forza Horizon 2. If you want to know what the GameTrailers best racing game is, there it is, because I'm GameTrailers best racing game writer. And it's not really a racing game, but I put a lot of time into spin tires. And that was just a weirdo, wacky thing. It's like, okay, like change the differentials and put in all-wheel drive to like not get stuck in the mud or get out of the mud, and what a weirdo, crazy thing. And then Mario Kart was great. Despite the issues it had for a couple of months, Drive Club is really, really solid. And now with the weather patch, just looks gorgeous and is just insane to drive through a blizzard or a huge downpour. I thought. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, but couch multiplayer really came back this year.
I was going to talk about Screen Cheat. I wanted to mention Screen Cheat before we finish, man, because that was really great. And I've actually spent a lot more time on Twitch than I ever have in the history of GT, and it's so much fun. I spend way more time on Twitch than I probably should for the bang that we get out of it. But we had so much fun playing that game. We were talking about Shooter. It was like Screen Cheat, and we're like, no, it can't. I mean, it can't really compete with a lot of the other shooters that we're talking about.
And there was another one you guys played, Sports Friends. Were you on that?
I was not on Sports Friends. I get to play that.
But we did. There was a lot of Smash. There's a lot of Towerfall Ascension.
Towerfall, yeah.
A lot of Nidhogg.
Right.
Oh my gosh, it's just so many this year. It's
but
great.
Just a lot of great games that are really experimenting with that competitive sense of. Just doing the same thing over and over and over again, but really finding like the nuances in it, and really seeing that gameplay is trumps all. Gameplay is really important. Again, we're not doing best graphics this year. It's like it's really about what games are really fun, and I think that'll reflect.
Octodad.
Octodad, yeah.
Yeah,
I Am Bread. Just haven't spent a lot of time with that. But
yeah, I haven't seen I Am Bread yet. I've been hearing about it, but yeah, Octodad just like making being awkward into a game.
Right.
And it's like, can I climb a staircase? Being a hard challenge, What else stands out for you?
Evil Within, I got to talk about because I was surprised because Mike Huber.
Yeah, I know. I was skeptical.
Mike Huber is a hypoholic, as we know, and so he was really, really excited about that. And then of course we gave it to him, and then he came home and then came back in and was like, oh, that's amazing. And so it's like, okay, let's get to the bottom of this, and it's fantastic. It's like they didn't break what they shouldn't have. Like they did anything that was just so perfect in RE4 that they just absolutely perfected with that model. They kept exactly the same. They just added cool weapons onto it and cool moments. And I like how what I didn't like about it is I couldn't say I really cared about any of the people that were in it. I didn't really care about anybody in RE4 that much.
Yeah, like I don't even think I've heard anyone give the name of the character.
Right, yeah, and I don't know if that was intentional then, that they really wanted you to care about those people, but I still really liked how it approached the whole concept of madness and the whole way that the game was structured, that it seemed silly when I'm playing RE4, that you walk into a room and it's like, well, I can save my game here, like what? Like, yeah, there's supernatural elements, but like, how is this salesman following me around? Like, why is he always like around the corner? And it would have been nice in RE4 if they like, tip their hat a little bit as to like what his powers were and like how he was able to do that. And Evil Within is great because the setup is that like you could be dreaming you could be insane, you could be in a straitjacket right now, you could be heavily drugged, you could be going through some kind of simulation, you could be in some kind of trance and somebody's just feeding this all to you. This could all actually be happening. And it was not only something that the game set up, it was something that NPCs in the game would comment to you, like they didn't know what was going on. And so it was kind of fun in real time and kind of a Last of Us kind of a way to like have that open dialogue during gameplay of like, what is happening right now? I don't understand. And that helped the horror, and there actually were 3 or 4 games. I mean, PT was incredible. PT, made me piss my pants. I actually came in one weekend on like a Saturday to cut something, and PT was on my PS4, and it was the last game I played. And I was like, oh, I'll play a little bit in the afternoon. And this is like 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the office, in the middle of the day, sunlight coming in through the window. No one's around in the office. And like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't play it by myself. I was like, it's too creepy. But like, there were definitely some jump moments in Evil Within. There were definitely some really good audio design in that game. And just that action. I mean, just finding like, there was one boss where like I was like looping around and catching him in traps to try to defeat him. I think I did that on the stream when I streamed the game for a couple hours, like on the day it launched. And I was like, oh, there's no way I'm gonna beat this boss. And then I like found this trick, and it's just like so rewarding. And I love those games. Again, if you're a fan of like RE4, it was like definitely a return to form, which I was skeptical. Yeah, before it came out. Have we talked about Disney Infinity yet? Yeah, it was a fun game, and Destiny, I reviewed and definitely had a lot of fun with, but there's just not enough time to play all the games we want to play. I wish I could go back in and play that continuously, but so many games to talk about. Of course, us, getting all the review scripts that you do, and myself being editor-in-chief. We try to like understand and perceive and get our heads around all of the games that are out there, but there's absolutely no way we can play all of them.
Yeah, but tomorrow, Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Be revealed.
Yeah. It's interesting. Kind of unexpected to see, what added up at the end of the day. But I was happy with the pick. I had my hand up in the air when we were talking about that game. It's definitely a game that I spent a lot of time with this year. So, drum roll, please. Hope you guys enjoyed all of our Game of the Year award coverage. Best of 2014, the official title. Thank you so much, Blood, for putting all this stuff together. Thank you guys for watching all of our reviews this year. And I hope you have a wonderful 2015. We'll see you next year.